Good morning everybody and welcome to Wanderings with Wendy. Today,
hey, whoa!
Good morning everybody and welcome to Wanderings with Wendy. Today,
Hey, whoa!
What's wrong? Oi!
What are you doing?
Mind
I'm
you.
the talent here.
Today we're going to Lincoln.
The problem is that a few weeks ago she was interviewed on the BBC, so she's been on the proper big telly, and now you can't do a thing with her. She thinks she's the talent here.
Thinks.
She probably is actually. So today we're popping over to Lincoln, as she rightly said. It's one thing she did get right. We're going to Doddington Hall to the Giant store. It's not really that big, is it? But
It's not giant.
it's not giant. But the reason is Wendy has ordered a mech hanger for her bike. Now most normal people would just get it delivered, but of course, you know, we're talking with Wendy here.
It costs money.
And
Excuse for a ride out.
it's an
isn't
excuse for a good ride over there. But we have another ulterior motive, and that is we're going to have a look at Wendy's seat. Not
Post.
that. And that is we're going to have a look at Wendy's seat post, because the bike she's got, which is the Liv Devote, has got the D-shaped seat post. I think they call it D-fuse, and there's probably got some good reasons for doing it, but what it does do, it means that you can't fit another seat post into it. And Wendy has decided she now wants the Redshift suspension seat post, but of course it won't fit because of this D-fuse shaped recess. So we understand that you can actually take that D-shaped holder out, so you can actually put a normal seat post in. I've spoken to Redshift. They actually do a shim, so you can take it down from the larger hole in the frame to the seat post size. So
You've lost me.
yeah, that's You see, you're not as smart as you think you
No,
are.
no.
So that's what we plan to do, and fingers crossed that giants say it's possible. Oddly, this seat post, although it's a bit heavier, I actually do go faster for some reason, so don't understand it. But Wendy thinks it's the only way she's going to manage to keep up. So
We hope.
we'll carry on along here. We're on the old railway from the Fledborough Viaduct into Lincoln. We'll probably carry on into Lincoln afterwards. So we've had a lovely ride up here. The only snag is that it's going to be into wind on the way back, but you know, can't have everything, can you? So, from Ride with Roy
And Wendy.
Wandering with Wendy. I often think it's wandering with Wendy sometimes, but there you go. So we'll see you soon.
I might moan about Lincolnshire and the cycle routes, but you know, there's 10 miles here, isn't there?
Yeah.
A beautiful cycleway. So we shouldn't complain too much.
It's just that we have to ride 35 miles to get to it.
But apart from that,
Yeah. But of course this is a Sustrans route, which is why it's good. If it was left to Lincolnshire County Council, it wouldn't
exist.
here, would it?
It'd still be having consultants looking
Oh,
at
that's
it.
true, they would. So what's made you decide on the suspension seat post?
Because when we're on gravel tracks, I see your seat going up and down, and I think you're able to pedal more smoothly. Whereas I sometimes have to stop and start pedaling because of potholes and things. So I'm thinking that it might help me to pedal more smoothly.
Yeah. And the odd thing is that you don't really notice it going up and down.
No.
Well, I don't. But I was surprised when you said you could see it. And I think the other thing is it makes it much more comfortable.
Yeah.
And
Well, we seem to be doing more and more off-roady bits, aren't we, as well?
yeah, I rode my Ribble a couple of weeks back without it. I didn't bother switching the seat post over. And my goodness, I could tell the difference.
Yeah.
The other thing that's worth looking at is this suspension stem.
Yeah.
And that's going to give you a little bit of flex, you see. You don't need too much,
Yeah.
but it's enough to take the vibration out.
Yeah.
And I noticed again when I was riding the Ribble without it,
The difference.
big difference. But of course, when I had the stem on that and the suspension seat post, it was just the same feel as this.
Yeah.
So they do seem fairly expensive, but it really does make a big difference,
Yeah.
especially on the rougher stuff.
I think we've been just doing so much more of this type of track that, you know, it's
Yeah, obviously
sort of
we've got
makes sense.
obviously we've got our tubeless tyres at a relatively low pressure, which helps, but it still makes a big difference. So it's just fingers crossed that it's going to work.
Yeah, I'm going to demand a refund if... Hello. Thank you.
Yes.
Woo. Wow. Big extension.
Well, we're at the Giant store in Lincoln, and we've asked the question about the seat post and discovered that in fact it's fitted wrongly anyway. The shim has fallen down inside the frame, so it's not right anyway. And what they've very kindly done here, they're very short-staffed at lunchtime today, but they've agreed to do it for Wendy.
That's brilliant,
while we're
isn't
here.
it? How kind of them.
Because they're saying that it could damage
Could be dangerous.
it could damage the frame. and she could end up with needing a new frame because because it's going to put some unusual stresses on the carbon. So we have the answer on the suspension seat post, but also these guys are going to fix it for her. So top marks to Paul at Giant Lincoln.
Hey!
So that's all done.
Brilliant. How good were they?
They were busy, so they hadn't got
stuff.
time.
Yeah.
They really helped us, went out of their way, and they didn't even charge, which is
That's fantastic.
top marks.
Yeah, so
Giant
kind of them.
at Lincoln. Just don't, if you come, don't expect them to do it for free. Don't tell them I said that.
Hi. Can we come past you? Thank you.
Stay left, darling. Thank you.
She's doing really well.
That's a nice colour bike.
Lovely.
Yeah, something we've noticed lately, isn't it? That when we've watched people going up hills, really struggling, and in totally the wrong gear.
Yeah, I don't. You see, I was the same. I didn't understand gears till, the last 2-3 years, really.
You remember we had that lady on a guided ride that had got £4,000 worth of bike, and couldn't make it up hills because she was always in the big ring.
Yeah.
So
Just didn't understand how to do the gears.
Tend to assume that people know these things, but they don't.
I learned more about changing gears from following you up hills.
Really?
Yeah. So I always did what you did.
Oh, right.
And that kind of taught me how to do it, because nobody teaches you otherwise. No. And you almost feel you shouldn't keep changing gears. No. When I change gears so often now, it's kind of automatic, isn't it?
The other thing I've noticed a lot lately, I've found myself looking at bikes that are parked, and the number of people that just don't know how to lock a bike properly.
Well, yeah.
It's, and then wonder why they're stolen,
yeah.
Or, they've lost their back wheel or front wheel.
Well, you see, in the old days you might have gone out with your mum and dad cycling, or your brothers and sisters, but that doesn't happen anymore.
But you were probably riding something that wasn't worth stealing.
Yeah. But actually, as a kid I never used the gears, or never knew.
Oh, you're talking about gears still? Sorry,
yeah.
I was on locks. I've moved on, Wendy. Come on, keep
Sorry.
up.
No, I was just thinking of my molten bike with 3 gears.
Yeah, Sturmy Archer.
And it was always in the middle one.
Yeah, I mean, probably we should do a little feature on how to lock a bike properly.
Yeah.
Because
I don't know, you'd assume most of the people who are on your channel know.
Well, I would, but you never know. There might be somebody, in fact, it might attract somebody that doesn't know. So,
true.
Yeah, you can't. I think it's dangerous to assume, isn't it?
Yeah, that's very true.
Sorry.
It's all right, don't worry.
Come on, Mum, and come out of the way.
Elsie, leave your t-shirt on, darling. You're not walking around with a t-shirt.
Come on, ducks.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right, don't worry. Well, we stopped for lunch in Lincoln, and I was ready for it because I'd already done 50 miles, and Wendy, you'd have done what? You'd have done 42 probably.
Yeah.
So we were a bit late in having it, but we've had it all the same. And we're on our final leg now. Probably got another 20 miles to go. I'm coming up to 60. So might get nearer 80 today.
I'm on 50 because I'm on 80 kilometres, so 50 miles.
Okay. So a nice little warm up for our next adventure, which we're planning to be...
Double this, Roy, are you serious? Oh my God.
You can do it. So we've not done a 100-mile ride yet this year. So
I've not done very long rides at all.
we're planning to do one in the next couple of weeks or so. What we're planning to do is get the train to Ely in Cambridgeshire, which is about an hour and a half on the train. We've chosen Ely because there's no changes involved, and we'll come back via Spalding because there's some nice off-road sections there, and it'll be about 100 miles. So we're planning on doing that in the next few weeks, and the main criteria is we really want to make sure we don't have a headwind back. If we can get a nice warm southerly breeze,
That would be
we'll
very
be well
pleasant.
happy. We've noticed today a lot more female cyclists out, and some small groups of female cyclists, which is really, really good to see. And I'm pleased to say that we have quite a number of female cyclists on this channel, and that's a really good thing. I think the more people we can get into cycling, the better, and especially women. Females obviously have some differences in their needs for cycling, and without us being presumptuous, we'd like to know what those needs are, and if you'd like us to cover anything. We can give Wendy a little slot. She's desperate for publicity.
Oh, thank you.
So she can answer any of those questions.
Wendy's woes.
Also, if you have any female friends that you think could benefit from watching our videos, then it'd be great if you'd share with them and invite them along. So yeah, please, if you're a female cyclist, please comment below. And indeed, as always, if you're a male cyclist, comment below if there's something you would like to know. Oh, well, so what have you done, Wendy? How many?
109.5 kilometres.
109.5. You'll be 110 by the time you get in.
I
then.
will.
So I'm now on nearly 76 miles, and I've got another 8 miles to go to get home. Feeling it though, because we had a headwind most of the way back, didn't we?
Yeah, it was quite tough in places.
So we've done about probably 30 miles into a headwind, which was fairly tough, and it's warm. I mean,
You got used to it.
my Wahoo's saying 24 degrees, which is probably not that accurate, but it feels as if it is actually.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So August has arrived.
Summer has arrived.
I think for today, probably.
And tomorrow, that's it.
So good. So we've had a good ride.
It's been really, really good. Thank you, Roy.
And we'll see you probably next Tuesday for our. We've got a guided ride next Tuesday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So just a little short one though.
Brilliant.
So bye.
Bye.
Well, we've just clicked over 80 miles, and just heading to where you joined me this morning on the Grantham Canal. Now, I'm not sure whether I'll have the energy to push up my favourite 12% hill, so I might go to the next turning off where there's still a hill, but it's not quite as severe. I've probably got another 3 miles to go, 2 miles, two or 3 miles depending on which way I go, and I should be glad to get back actually. As we were saying earlier, that into wind section was quite gruelling. I often get nice comments about the videos, and I have to say it's very encouraging, because sometimes when I put them out I think, well, you know, is it up to standard? Is it any good? And it's quite odd that sometimes the videos that I don't think are very good actually get the best comments and the most watches. It is strange. But I equally want to say thank you to every one of you that watches, because it does help with the YouTube algorithm. It gives more exposure to the videos, more people get to see them. And also the other big thing is, I remember when I first got to the first 100 subscribers, I really found it strange that anybody would want to watch what I do. Now we're nearly at 6,000. I think we're just a couple of hundred short of 6,000 subscribers. So if you know anyone that probably thinks the way you do and would maybe like these videos, and especially, as I was saying earlier, female subscribers, everyone's welcome, but it'd be nice to get a lot more women out there cycling. So I'd be grateful if you'd share with your friends and get to that 6,000. That would be great. And we've got lots more rides coming up, but also some reviews. Now I've got to go out and do some night shots. One is for the review of this camera, which is the Pro 2 from Chili Tech, and this is their high-end model that gives good results in low light. So we're going to go and test that. My son's coming up this weekend, so hopefully we can go out, he can have the camera, and I'll ride. And that's because there's another item I'm going to be reviewing, and that's going to require somebody to film me from behind. I'll not say any more about that at the moment, but that'll be coming up shortly, hopefully. And then of course we've got to continue testing the Android version of the Apple AirTag, and I have to say the tests I've done so far are quite encouraging. So again, if you want to see those reviews, or you know any friends that might be interested in those, please subscribe. And as always, if you would, just take the moment after you finish watching the video just to give it a like. That always helps. So I've just hit 82 miles, so I'm guessing I'm probably going to be around 84. Now, how would I feel about doing another 15 to get to 100? Well, not particularly tonight, because I've not paced myself to do it, but if I knew I was doing a 100-mile ride, I would be stopping every 25, just having a rest, something to eat and drink, keep the energy levels up. But tonight, 84, 85 will do quite nicely. So, as I'm nearly home, I'll stop rambling on. Thank you for joining me, and I'll look forward to you joining us next time. So until then, I'll say goodbye.